Hi everyone, it's Bridget from Paper Creations with another card today. This is the card that I was going to do. We are going to colour it slightly differently. I've used ink on here and it's not a watercolour paper, so it didn't actually take the water very well. So I will be using my Prismacolor pencils and it'll look very similar to this one. So let me just show you what we'll be using. So we've got our basic black ink pad, our Sahara sand ink pad, and I've actually, my Versamark is, I need to buy a refill for that, so we're using Perfect Medium instead. We're also going to use the Bow Paper Clips embellishments. They're still current in the catalogue. The Rose Wonder stamp set, which I think is just gorgeous, just absolutely gorgeous. We also want to use a piece of twine, just any kind of twine that you have. The Prismacolor pencils that I'm using, you could use watercolor pencils too actually. This is Scarlet Lake, Moss Green, Apple Green, Mahogany Red, and Pale Vermilion. I'm using my little paper stump and some Gamsol as well. Black embossing powder, mini glue dots, a banner punch or washi label punch, and my fast fuse. You will also need to have, I'll put that to the side, you'll also need to have some card. So you'll need a piece of scrap card to punch out the sentiment. You'll need a piece of black card that measures 5 3/4 by 4 1/4. That'll be your card base. You'll need another piece which is just a plain white piece, 5 5/8 by 3 7/8. And then you'll need a piece of just some sort of designer paper. I've used, this one comes from the Epiphany collection by Prima and it's clear as day. It's actually my last piece, so I'm quite sad that I've run out. This one measures 5 1/2 by 3 3/4. I mean, you could probably still get this online somewhere. I just really liked the design in the background. It saves me having to actually do anything at all to the background because it's quite detailed enough. So we'll start off with embossing the flower onto our piece of designer paper. So you will need your Perfect Medium or Versamark if you have it, and ink it up very well. Oh, and you'll actually need to use your embossing buddy as well. I'm trying to see where I've left mine, which is here. And we'll give that a wipe down. It doesn't matter too much again with this if you get extra little grains on there, because it adds to the look of the card. So then you'll stamp that down about there. And again, give it a really good press and it'll come up with it again, so I'll just make sure that there's plenty on there. Okay, so then you can put that to the side. Let's get your embossing powder and spread that on there. It's not taking that very well. It should be enough though. So now I'm going to just heat that up. Okay. Now the colouring on this actually took me quite a while. So what I'll do is I will show you how I did a couple of the petals, and then we'll grab one that I have already finished. So I just used the pale vermilion, and I just coloured the whole petal in like that, and I took the scarlet and kind of added that around the edges. Like that. Then you take your stump and the gamsol and just wet the end of that. Then come in and blend it. Actually blends very nicely doing it this way. Once I'm happy with how that looks, I come in with some mahogany, and I just go around the outer edges like that. Again, wet your stump and just blend it into the centre. So you end up with, it kind of looks like that. So with the green, I just did the same style. I just coloured the leaves in apple green, and then came in with the moss green and went around the edges here. Just like that. And again with the blender, the stump, just come in, wet it down, and just come in and blend that in. So that's what that looks like there. So I'll show you the finished one. So pretty much just continue to work around the flower until you're happy with how it looks. I'll show you the finished one, and then we can actually continue to work on the... So this is the one that I previously did, and that's how it came out using the Prismacolor pencils, and I think I really much prefer that to the first one that I did. Okay, so now that you've got that nicely done, take a distress tool. I've found a little bit of mine, I don't know where the rest of it is, and just come in and distress the edge of that paper all the way around. Just like that. Now I've actually even torn mine a little bit just there, and just try and roll the roll the paper out like that. Yep, so it looks like that. Then you can take your white piece and do the same to that. So just run your distress tool over the top. Around the edge. Doesn't matter if it looks ragged, that's the whole point. However you want to do it is fine. Excuse me. Once you're happy with how that looks, just take your sponge and your Sahara sand, and I've started on the edge and just kind of come in like that, and you're only doing a little bit on across, because you're going to cover that with that, so it doesn't matter if you don't do the whole thing. Keep going around the edge. Okay, so that piece is finished. Now you take this piece and do the same, but possibly not as dark as what you've done the other one. Here you're actually literally just going on the edge. Okay. So now we're finished with that side of things. You can now glue this down onto your piece of paper, onto your piece of white. I'm using fast fuse because again there's been a lot of medium type liquid on there, so I will use the fast fuse just to make sure it holds it, and remember just to flick that out a little bit to break it off. Took me a long time to work out how to do that. Okay, now you're going to stick that on here. Okay, just like that. And that's what it looks like. So what I've done now is I've taken my piece of twine and I've just tied it in a knot just here. You could do it the other side if you really wanted to. It doesn't really matter where you put this. It's just cosmetic at the end of the day. Okay, you can trim that off. And then you can glue it onto your card base. Again using the fast fuse. Just want to put that on there, hopefully nice and centered, and just there we go. Okay, so that's the card pretty much done. So now we're going to stamp the sentiment. I'll just put that there, and to do that just use your basic black Stampin' Up ink, and you can put any sentiment on there. I just used thank you because I thought I haven't done a thank you card for a little while, so just stamp it somewhere on there that you've got room, and that's it. And again, you can use any kind of label punch. It doesn't have to be one like this. I just really like this one. So then you put it in there and you punch it out. I've taken what was left on this sponge and I've just gone in on the edge, around all the edges here. To kind of just make it look a little bit grungy and dirty. So that's kind of what that looks like. And that will go here. And I think what I'll do is I'll take one of my mini glue dots, because I did have trouble getting it to stick before. So I'll take one of these and I'll kind of roll it into a little ball and then pick it up and pop it just there. And pop that there. And we can take one of these. Oh, would help if I opened it the right way. Take one of these and slip it under there. A little bit fiddly, but it will go. There we are. And that's today's card. Hope you enjoyed it. Thank you.